Hi, my name is Mike Angshed, and today I'm going to tell you about the story of my parents' American dream. My parents were married in 1949 in Sweden. My dad's last name was Anderson, and there were so many Andersons in Sweden. They lived in a 10-flat apartment building, and in that apartment building there were 7 families with the last name Anderson. So my dad did not like that, and he decided to change his name, and he chose the name Angshed. And then once that name was chosen, that name is wiped off the books. So myself and my family are the only Angsheds in the United States. Of my mom's family, my mom is the only one that moved away from Sweden, and my dad was the first of 3 brothers to move here to the United States. March of 1955, they spent 9 days on a boat. They knew no English. The boat ride was really rough on my dad, as he used to tell me, and he said it was nothing but a party for my mom. When they came here, when they arrived in the United States, they arrived in New York City. They did not arrive at Ellis Island because Ellis Island had already closed. They were processed in New York City, and a couple of days later they made their way to Chicago, where they stayed with my father's uncle, who was the one that sponsored them. My dad started working within 2 or 3 days of having arrived in Chicago. My mom worked before they had children. Eventually they settled in the town of Evergreen Park. That's where I lived when I was young. I don't recall exactly when they became citizens, but it was something that they were very much wanting to do. Eventually they received a letter from Gerald Ford, a good friend of my father's, was fairly well connected and was able to get this letter sent to my parents on his behalf from President Ford. So we have a copy of that letter, which had a wonderful childhood, wonderful customs, Swedish customs. All of our birthdays, we sing both in English and in Swedish. And my mom and my dad both were the nicest people you've ever met. All my friends would laugh at their accent. However, I never heard it. To me, it was so normal, and it was just mom and dad. My father was interested in genealogy and also interested in diaries. And for that, I'm beyond grateful. I think there's about 8 volumes. I never get tired of looking at it. They had a wonderful life here. They lived their American dream. So thank you for listening to my story.